got 4.7 complete the square. This is kind of times what we do with the tiles. The first one, they want to solve a project equation by finding the square roots. So you can, most of the time you would subtract 16 from 25 and get 9 to solve that way, but this is a perfect square. Like we talked about, it's a perfect square. So if you rewrite it, it's back in the form of x minus 4 squared equals 25. Okay, if you want to solve this way, and I would not recommend solving it most times like this, but it ties into what we're teaching. So it would be x minus 4 equals plus or minus 5. Then you would add 4 to both sides, you get x equals 4 plus or minus 5. So our two answers, 4 plus 5 is 9, and 4 minus 5 is -1. And those would be our two answers, okay? Which would be the same two answers if you solved it the other way right here, set equal to 0 and solved it that way, okay? So that's how you go about solving it. This is a perfect square. Most of the time we're not going to solve that way, but we're just talking about writing it as a binomial square, okay? We talked about completing the square. To get that, to complete the square, you take whatever your b term is, divided by 2 and square it to do that. We talked about that the other day with the tiles. So that's what we're going to use. Okay, so we have x squared, find value that makes x squared plus 16, x plus c a perfect square. So we're going to take our b, which is 16, and we're going to do b over 2 squared. So 16 divided by 2 squared is 4, or 8 squared, which is 64. So we have x squared plus 16x plus 64. And you can almost visualize, you know, you have your 8 long tiles on one side, 8 long tiles on the other side. 8 by 8 makes 64. And then the right as binomial squared, maybe you take the square root, and write as x squared, and you take the square root of that, which is 8, x squared plus 8 squared, or sorry, write that again. X plus 8 squared. Okay. So that would be your answer to write as binomial squared. So you need both of those to solve that. Okay. Let's do odds. We're going to do the odd ones. Okay. So going on to the next one. Okay. So the method solved by completing the square when it's like this, what you want to do is first get it into ax squared plus bx equals c term. So you want to get the x's on one side, the numbers on the other. So what you want to do is subtract 4, subtract 4. So we'd have x squared minus 12x equals -4. Okay. Then we're going to complete the square. So we're going to use our term b, it's -12. So we're going to do -12 divided by 2 squared, which is -6 squared, which is 36. So we're going to add 36 to both sides, because what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we're going to add 36 to this side, and we're going to add 36 to the other side as well. Okay. Now that we've made a perfect square trinomial, we can factor this as x minus 6 squared, because the square root of 36 is 6, and there's a minus sign right in the middle. Okay, so you see the 36, and you see the minus sign. Basically drops down right there. Equals 32. So now we have it like this. What do? We square root it. Square root both sides. We have x minus 6 equals plus or minus. Got to break down 32. 32 has, what, 16 and 2? So it breaks down into 4 square root of 2. So we have plus or minus 4 square root of 2. Then we're going to add 6 to both sides. And we get x equals 6 plus or minus 4 square root of 2. Okay? And that's how you would solve that by completing the square. So the steps, and I can write the steps on the board when we're doing this in a class. But the steps are to write an ax squared plus bx equals c form. All right. Then do the b over 2 squared and add that to both sides. Then write that as a binomial square, go from here to here. And then take the square root and solve from there. And that's how you solve by completing the square. Okay, let's solve another one. Now this one, they'll all count. You always want to factor out the nearest common factor first. You can do that first step or second step. I'm going to do the first step here. So 2x squared plus 4x plus 7 equals 0. Then I can divide by 2. And 0 divided by 2 is 0. So we don't even have to worry about that. Now we've gotten rid of that 2. we can subtract 7. So subtract 7 from both sides. So we have x squared plus 4x equals negative 7, because you got to write it in that x squared plus bx equals c terms. Okay. Then you want to complete the squares, so we take our 4, which is our bx term, and do 4 divided by 2 squared, which is 2 squared, which is 4. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. So it'll be x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals negative 7 plus 4. Again, when you do one side, you have to do the other. If you don't add 4 to both sides, it's going to mess up your answer, so make sure you do that. Then we have to write it as a binomial squared, so we write x plus 2 squared, and square root of 4 is 2, or 4 divided by 2 is 2, equals negative 3. Then we have to take the square root of that. So we get x plus 2 equals plus or minus. It's the square root of negative, so we have the I square root of 3. Okay, you can't break down square root of 3, but you got to take that I out because you can't take square root of negative. Take the square root of a negative, so you have to have the I to represent that. Then you subtract 2, we get x equals negative 2 plus or minus I square root of 3. That shows that you can even solve quadratics by completing the square root. All right, this one, area rectangle shown, 72 square units. What is the value of x? So we set it up. Area is length times width. So area in this case is 72 equals length, which is x plus 2 times width, which is 3x. Okay, so we're going to distribute. We get 72 equals 3x squared plus 6x. Then we're going to factor out the greatest common factor, which is 3. So we get x squared plus 3x. And then what we're going to do is, since we can divide by 3 on both sides on this, we're going to divide by 3, 72 divided by 3, I think it's 24. 60, yeah, that's right. And that equals x squared plus 3x. Now we have it in ax squared plus bx plus c forms. Now we can complete the square, okay? Hold on a second. What are you doing? Pause it. No, my mistake was this. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So that should be 2x. 2x. That should be 2x. Divide by 3, or factor out of 3, it should be 2x, yeah. So 2x here. Okay, so then we could do b over 2 squared. B is 2. So 2 divided by 2 squared is 1 squared is 1. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. 24 plus 1 and x squared plus 2x plus 1. So we got to add that to both sides. So we have 25 equals, and we write that in factor form to be x plus 1 squared. Then we take the square root of both sides, and we get plus or minus 5 equals x plus 1. Then we subtract 1 and subtract 1, and we get negative 1 plus or minus 5 equals x. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4, negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6, but the only answer that really works, because you can't have negative length or width, is x equals 4. So that would be your answer. You plug that back in to check it, that's b. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 times 12 is 72. So, and like I said, you can eliminate A and D because you can't have any negative answers. That doesn't make any sense. Okay? Alright, and that is it. If you have any questions, email me and we'll talk about it in class later. That is it.